Welcome back to Suspense Safari. Today, we delve into a case that sent shockwaves through India and beyond, the haunting Nithari case. It's a story of unimaginable horrors, a tale that exposed the darkest corners of human depravity. In this video, we'll uncover the chilling details of the Nithari killings, the victims who fell prey to a remorseless predator, and the long road to justice that followed. But beyond the gruesome facts, we'll also explore the lessons to be learned from this case about the importance of vigilant communities, responsive law enforcement, and the enduring quest for justice. Join us as we unravel the story of Nithari, a case that serves as a stark reminder of the evil that can lurk in our midst. Let's begin. In the quiet suburb of Nithari, on the outskirts of Delhi, a gruesome series of crimes came to light in 2006. It all began with the mysterious disappearance of several children and young women in the area. Families were distraught, and their search for their missing loved ones led them to a place they could never have imagined: the home of businessman Maninder Singh Pandar and his servant Surendra Kohli. The police initially dismissed the family's concerns, attributing the disappearances to runaways or minor criminal activities. Pale, a teenage girl, went missing from the Nithari area in Noida in 2005. Her sudden disappearance raised concerns among her family members, who began searching for her but couldn't locate her. Pale's family reported her disappearance to the local police, who initiated an investigation. However, the initial efforts to locate Pale were largely unsuccessful, and her whereabouts remained unknown. In December 2006, there was a breakthrough in the case when human remains, including bones and body parts, were discovered near a house owned by Maninder Singh Pandar in Nithari. These discoveries were initially linked to Pale's case because she had gone missing from the same area. But as more and more people went missing, the pressure on the police to investigate mounted. It wasn't until a sewer cleaning crew discovered dismembered human remains in the drainage system near Pandar's house that the horrifying truth began to emerge. The investigation that followed exposed the dark secrets hidden within Pandar's house. The police found a house of horrors, with evidence of sexual abuse, torture, and gruesome murders. The victims, mostly children and young women, had been lured into the house with promises of employment or money. Surendra Kohli, the servant, was arrested, and during interrogation he confessed to the gruesome murders. He revealed chilling details of how he would sexually assault, murder, and then dismember the bodies of his victims. The remains were often dumped in the sewer, making them nearly impossible to identify. Surendra Kohli, the prime accused in the Nithari serial killings, committed his heinous crimes in a gruesome and disturbing manner. Please be aware that the following description is graphic and may be distressing. Kohli's modus operandi involved luring children and young women to his employer Maninder Singh Pandar's house in Nithari, where he worked as a servant. He used various methods to entice his victims, often promising them employment or money in exchange for their compliance. Once inside the house, Kohli would sexually assault his victims after brutally murdering them. He would often strangle them to death, but other methods of murder were also employed, including decapitation and dismemberment. Kohli's acts were not only horrifying, but also deeply disturbing in their brutality. He killed the victims and cut their bodies like a meat, and had for his dinner to repair his sexual interest. After finished his needs, Kohli would dismember their bones. These bone parts were then disposed of in nearby drains and sewers, making it extremely challenging to identify the victims. The gruesome discoveries made by the police and investigators in the drainage system near Pandar's house were a testament to the horrifying acts committed by Kohli. It's important to note that Kohli confessed to these crimes during police interrogations and provided detailed accounts of his actions. His confession, along with the physical evidence found in the house and the sewer, played a crucial role in his conviction and the subsequent legal proceedings. The motive behind Surendra Kohli's gruesome crimes in the Nithari serial killings case is a complex and disturbing issue that has been the subject of speculation and investigation. Some theories and factors that might have contributed to his actions include Coley's crimes were often accompanied by sexual assault. It's possible that he derived some form of sadistic pleasure from the sexual abuse of his victims. Coley worked as a domestic help in a house owned by Maninder Singh Pandar, which provided him with access to vulnerable individuals, particularly children and young women. His proximity to potential victims may have played a role in his crimes, and Maninder had a habit of bringing call girls to his house, which influenced Coley to commit such horrible activities. He also attempted to bring those girls to the house when Maninder was out of town. Coley's actions suggest a severe lack of empathy and a disregard for human life. He seemed to view his victims as disposable, which is a characteristic of psychopathy or antisocial personality disorder. Coley's mental state at the time of the crimes is a subject of debate. Some experts have suggested that he may have had underlying psychological issues that contributed to his violent behavior. Coley committed these crimes alongside his employer, Maninder Singh Pandar, who was also charged in connection with the case. The two may have influenced each other's actions, with Pandar allegedly providing protection and assistance to Coley. It's important to note that while these factors provide some insight into Coley's possible motivations, his crimes remain deeply disturbing and difficult to comprehend. Maninder Singh Pandar was also arrested, although he initially denied any involvement. He claimed to be unaware of the crimes committed in his own home. However, the evidence against him, including the gruesome discoveries within his house, made it difficult to believe his innocence. The case became a sensational media story in India, sparking outrage and calls for justice. As more details emerged, it became clear that the police had been negligent in their initial investigations, dismissing the concerns of the victims' families. Both Pandar and Coley were put on trial for their heinous crimes. The court proceedings were lengthy and harrowing, with graphic details of the murders coming to light. In 2009, Maninder Singh Pandar and Surendra Coley were found guilty and sentenced to death for their roles in the Nithari serial killings. At last, on May 2022, Coley handed his 13th death sentence by a CBI court. Both Coley and Pandar are lodged in Dasna jail now. The Nithari serial killings remain one of the most horrifying and disturbing criminal cases in India's history. It exposed the vulnerabilities in the country's law enforcement and justice system, leading to calls for reforms and greater protection for the most vulnerable members of society. The scars left by this gruesome series of crimes continue to haunt the families of the victims, and the Nithari serial killings serve as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected places.